Hey everybody, this is Seb from Duel Bros. Last video we went over my Dragonmaid deck list, and this video we're going to go over some of the combos to do with the archetype. I know my deck had some OCG stuff in it, but we're going to include some stuff for TCG exclusive too, and I'm going to explain it in nice detail, so it's beginner friendly. If you're new to the deck, don't know where to start, watch this video. As you can see, I've got some new recording equipment since the last video, and we got a much nicer view of my playmat here. But yeah, anyways, here's how the video is going to work. We'll start off with the TCG combos, and then move towards the OCG exclusive stuff towards the end. Now to kick things off, let's talk about the boss monster of the deck, Dragonmaid Sheou. Omni Negate, can stop Nibiru, very helpful. And pretty easy to get out too. Let me show you how. So of course, being a fusion monster, you're going to need the fusion spell card, and Dragonmaids have their lovely exclusive one here, Dragonmaid Changeover. And you can get this in a variety of ways. Chamber Dragonmaid can use her effect to search it from the deck, or Parlor Dragonmaid can send it to the graveyard, and then use Changeover's own effect to return it and Parlor to the hand, and fusion summon away. And as for the materials, you're going to be needing one Dragonmaid plus one level 7 or higher dragon monster. In the TCG, it's a lot less easy to get out, but you can have some help with Kitchen Dragonmaid, who can search you a high level one, as long as there's another maid in your hand to discard to the graveyard. And of course, like any one of the level 4 under maids is a good pick for the discard, just because Dragonmaids, as you're going to find out soon, have a lot of ways to recycle themselves from the graveyard. In fact, Sheou doubles up as one too, because in the standby phase, Sheou can special summon a Dragonmaid from your hand or graveyard. And since all the level 4 unders have the summon effects, yeah, the standby phase, it's going to be a pretty giant standby phase. Alternatively, you could just ditch the fusion spell, by relying on these two Chazz dragons. Each one of them, Dark End and Light End, can fusion summon using their special effect. So, you know, already level 8 dragon, fusion. It's pretty much an instant Sheou if you've got a maid in your hand. We also have the House Dragonmaid, who Sheou turns into after using her Omni Negate. And her own ability is a nerfed version of Sheiou's standby phase special summon, where she has to target another Dragonmaid on the field, and then summon one from your hand or graveyard that's one level higher or one level lower in defense position. So situational, but helpful if you've already got a solid board out. And more importantly, when one of your dragons returns to the hand, she can destroy a monster your opponent controls. And so much stuff will be returning to the hand. When one of your Dragonmaids transforms into her dragon form, return to the hand. When the fusion spell returns from the graveyard to the hand, it also returns a dragon. And of course, Dragonmaid Tidying. Get more bang for buck from your trap card. There are just so many ways to trigger that effect, and it's amazing. Now let's talk a bit about Parlor, because she is my favourite card in the game, and for good reason. Because the stuff she can send to the graveyard can make or break your combos. It is fantastic. We've gone over the fusion spell already, but another good target is the Dragonmaid Tidying trap card. Its regular effect is just compulsory evacuation device, but if it's in the graveyard, you can then banish it to special a maid from your hand or graveyard. Very helpful. And of course, let's not forget the main mechanic of Dragonmaids, transforming. Parlor can just send a dragon form to the graveyard for one of your maids to transform into during the battle phase. And she can turn to a level 8 one, meaning that she can be either Lorpa or Kitchen's dragon form Tinkek. Absolutely fantastic. There's also a pretty nifty way to search Parlor Dragonmaid as well, using the gold sarcophagus. It's still kind of funny to me that, like, in the manga, this card was just like, seal a card away, it's forbidden now. But here is just banish one and then return to the hand. And I do prefer what they did with it here, because you can just banish a card like Tempest, the Dragon Ruler of Storms, and when he's banished, his own effect's going to trigger, and then just search you any Wind Dragon monster. So you can get your Parlor, or you could get her Dragon Form Lorpar if you need some material for your Sheou. And then, of course, once Tempest goes to your hand after the 2 turns Omnip from Sarcophagus, you will have another level 7 or higher dragon. So once again, she's back. Now let's talk a bit more about the other 3 level 4 or under maids we're using. Yeah, unfortunately, no Laundry Dragonmaid, because her effect just doesn't work well with the deck. I don't know what they were thinking making it, but you know, it's a fun card. I like the artwork. But yeah, anyways. Back to the ones we are using. Chamber Dragonmaid. An absolute menace on the battlefield, because like, any spell or trap card search does give you some pretty nifty stuff. And I'm not just talking about that fusion spell from earlier. Of course, we've got our compulsory evacuation device trap card over here, Dragonmaid Tiding, and Dragonmaid Hospitality, which is insane for combos, because it's a free special summon, and also a free mill to the graveyard. If you send one of these, you get the dragon form in the graveyard, and vice versa. So like, it's piece for itself. It's OP. And Kitchen Dragonmaid, we've been over earlier, but she can also be searched herself with Sangan Kaiman. Why would you use this to search a boring overused Tenpai when you could get this adorable Dragonmaid instead? Admittedly, she is probably the weakest out of all the main deck maids. That will change in the OCG once we get the support. But in the TCG, she's here for more support. And then we got Nurse Dragonmaid. This card, I always run 1 or 2 of it. Like, some people don't, but I feel she's really useful as an extender. Especially late game once you've got so many maids in the graveyard. Just like, use her as a target for your hospitality and just start a massive summoning chain. Make your standby phase even longer by having her be the summon from Sheou. Like, she's just pretty neat. Also, it doesn't come up that much because you will be using these for your fusion materials, but the dragon forms do have their own hand trap effects, which is pretty fun to pull off from time to time. Tinkek is your honest equivalent, plus 2000 attack points. Don't mind if I do. Lorpar is the best one in my opinion. Discard to essentially effect bailer someone on your turn. It's situational, but it does help break some boards that would otherwise not be broken. An Ernest, special summon 1 from the hand, just in case you happen to not get a hospitality or something that searches hospitality. You've got your backup right here. Also, before I forget, Chamber has one more epic trick up her sleeve, and that is resurrecting your fallen fusion monsters. The wording for Chamber's dragon transformation during the start step of the battle phase is that she's going to transform into any level 7 or higher Dragonmaid. These two just so happen to be level 7 or higher. So yeah, this maid really can do everything. Now we got to talk more about the Chazz dragons, because these guys have their own slew of nasty tricks you can use. To summon each one, you've got to banish a level 8 dragon from your extra deck. And if you remember from my last video, we do use some OCG cards as the main target for this ability. But in the TCG, I like using guys like Beals. You're never going to summon this guy, but that's for the better, because he's just here for cost. And then, in addition to, of course, having the fusion summon effect, both of these guys have a secondary effect. Dark End destroys, while Light End has some sort of minusing the attack in the battle phase. Obviously, Dark End has a way better ability. So why do I run 2 of both instead of just 3 Dark End, 1 Light End? The answer? Light and Darkness Dragon Lord. 3 consecutive negates for your opponent to play through. If you get this out early game, yeah, things aren't looking too good for your opponent. And he needs 1 level 8 Light and 1 level 8 Dark Dragon. So of course if you draw these 2 buddies, he is pretty much on the field instantly. And another fun way to get him out is by using Chamber Dragonmaid. Yeah, this card, it's a maid of many, many tricks. And the way this works is when summoning your Light End Dragon, you're going to use for cost Chaos Star Source Dragon. It's a bit of a risky move because Chaos is another destroyer, so he is very, very useful to have. But this, I think, is a bit better. Light End, banish Chaos, triggering Chaos' own effect to turn Chamber Dragonmaid into a level 8. And then, Light End's own effect. Boom! Dragon Lord. Your opponent rage quits. GG. And of course, this is a dragon type deck, so you know what's coming. I found this card in my backyard yesterday, actually. As soon as I touched it, I kept seeing yokai and aliens and all sorts of crazy stuff, and this boy keeps asking me to give it back to him. But it's all worth it because 1 tribute, 1 bounce, 1 summon, it's actually mental. Especially if you already have a level 4 or low maid in the graveyard, because with the summon, just get Nurse, and boom, the combo chain starts. And if not, no worries, just Chamber, Hospitality, and boom, next turn, the combo chain starts. And this deck has crazy ways to get this out. You can do this turn 1 with 2 1-card combos, which just so happen to be the most important main deck monsters, Chamber and Parlor. In the case of Chamber, you're going to want to search your Hospitality. Oops, I seem to have misplaced mine. Give me a second. There we go, Hospitality. You're going to link her off into Striker Dragon. Use the Hospitality to get her back. 2 materials. 1 set of walls. As for Parlor, we're going to send Tidy into the graveyard and do the same thing. Link for Striker. Banish to get your maid back. Balls! There's also a fun trick I'd like to go over with the Borrowload Furious Dragon. In my deck profile last time, I did run this guy in the side deck, but with TCG only cards, he's going to be in the main deck. And with a cost of 2 Dark Dragon monsters, you can get him out pretty easily with your Dark End and your Chamber, or even easier if your opponent is messing around with some Dark Dragons themselves, and you've got this Super Poly right here. In fact, in the case of Super Poly, something I like doing is... Wow, I am not good at finding card state. Oh, here we go. Is using Chamber to search Tidying in my hand, and then discard Tidying as the cost for the Super Poly. So then this is now live in my graveyard, another banished summon. So yeah, many, many ways to get your dragon out. And the fun trick with him revolves around his ability to target 1 card you control and 1 card your opponent controls and destroy them. Because all of the dragon forms we went over earlier, Lopar, Tinkek, Ernest, see if I can find one of them. They all have an effect where if you control a dragon fusion monster, they can't be destroyed by card effects. So you will always target this, you will lose nothing, but your opponent will still get their card destroyed, which is very satisfying to pull off. Okay, onto the OCG stuff. We're going to get 3 new cards soon, which will take this already good deck and make it brilliant. Absolutely 10 times more brilliant than it already is. And this is already my favorite deck in the game. So yeah, we're in for a very good treat. Chamber's Dragon form. It's going to make summoning her with Hospitality a lot more tough for your opponent. And the hand effect of this, discard to summon from your graveyard, hand, or banished. It's actually insane. The next of these 3 cards is Philia Regis. She's finally arrived from Japan. Very happy about that. And she's another boss monster using 1 dragon fusion monster plus one level 7 or higher dragon, which might seem a bit costly, but the final card we're going to go over is going to make it a lot easier for us. And what does she do? She can banish one card from your opponent's graveyard or banish one from their field, but if you do it from the field, she's got to return a dragon monster you control to the hand, which might seem like a bit of a drawback until House Dragonmaid hits the field. And now, the final OCG card, possibly the most useful card in the entire deck, Ladies Dragonmaid. A contact fusion that can fusion summon in your standby phase and your opponent's standby phase. What is it with these guys in the standby phase? But yeah, fusion summon by shuffling cards into the deck from your field or your banished pile. Get fucked, Runix. This is where it's at. Because to contact fuse her, you're going to need either the Dragonmaid on the field and her maid form in the graveyard, I need to plan this out better. Where did I put that? Bear with me for a bit. Here we go. And her dragon form in the graveyard, or vice versa. And then you can just banish the two and summon her. Next standby phase, shuffle these two. And then get out a Sheou. So once this card hits a TCG, your main course of action, unless you like really need of a negate, you want to maybe stop an Nibiru or just like get a beat stick, your main course of action will be to get her out before anything else. And another neat thing she does is when she's special summoned, you can summon one of your level 4 or lower maids from the deck. You heard me. Special summoned. Not just fusion summon. Hospitality works. Tidying works. You will get so many maids out super easily. And of course, because of the way she is fusion summoned, Kitchen Dragonmaid becomes just as important as Chamber and Parlor in the OCG. Since, of course, you summon her, send your Tinkek. Instant Ladies Dragonmaid. These combos are getting faster and faster. And of course, she is a level 8 light dragon. So you know what's coming up. We got even more materials for the light and darkness Dragon Lord. And speaking of the Chazz dragons, she has a very funny combo with them. Because as you remember, the Chazz dragon's cost was to banish a level 8 dragon from the extra deck. So, if you do that, and banish a fusion monster, then you have the materials needed for Philia Regis with the fusion monster, plus the level 7 or higher, which you banished to summon her. She is making boss monsters like crazy. You love to see it. And it does go without saying, but the existence of Ladies Dragonmaid does make these two cards even better than they already were, because Hospitality becomes an instant Ladies now, and Parlor, she can just send to the graveyard the Lorpa, instant Ladies. And of course, Hospitality will also make Chamber Dragonmaid an instant Ladies too. Well, Chamber Dragonmaid plus one other card. The Striker Dragon. Because of course the plan for this will be to summon your Chamber, search your Hospitality, link her into Striker, Hospitality, get her back, use the Hospitality secondary effect to send her dragon form to the graveyard, And what do you know? Instant ladies. The striker might be a bit of a target, but whatever. It doesn't matter too much. And if it does bother you that much, you've got your tidying with a pretty nifty target right now. And of course, ladies does fusion summon using stuff from the field as well. So if you ever need one dragon monster, you can just send this guy back to the extra deck, which will be pretty useful because then you can recycle him once again. These cards love tidying up. Oh yeah, also. Remember Chamber Dragonmaid's little trick from earlier about transforming into the 2 fusion monsters? Well, since this one's a level 8, you can do the same trick with Chamber and Parlor. And yes, because this is a special summon, you will get to trigger Lady's effect to summon another maid from the deck once again. You will never run out of materials with this card, ever. And that is it for the Dragonmaid Combos video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like and a sub so my channel can grow. And stay tuned for more videos. See you next time.